this today's Bhakti Shastri class. So before we start, just a quick summary. I would like all devotees, because till now, last two classes, we could not give time for devotees to share their points and all. So till now, we have been coming till the last section of this 14th chapter. So where we are going to discuss mainly on the subject matter of how to transcend the modes. So this is going to be the discussion here. So before we start, I would like all devotees to share. You can raise your hands and share. Till now, what has been discussed so far in this 14th chapter or 13th chapter, you can just share. Raise your hands, you can share. At the same time, you can write in the chat box as well. Whatever points you recollect from yesterday's discussion or the discussion before. You can go in any sequence. Just raise your hands, unmute yourselves and start. Yeah. Okay. Abhishek Pro is saying, yesterday we saw about the result of acting in three modes. So what are the results of acting in three modes?
Roji, you were that verses we were seeing, na, that when someone is in the passion, then he gets frustrated. Someone in the uh, mm, sorry, in the passion, it's like foolishness. And if someone we saw that if he is in the ignorance, then there is what?
No. Ignorance is foolishness. Passion is equal to misery.
Oh,
Goodness
sorry.
equal to happiness. Yeah.
Yes, Roji.
Okay. Anything else you remember? Um, Shekhar was telling. Yeah. Greatest fear is that one may glide down to Moodha Yoni. Yeah, Tamasa. So Moodha, who will glide down to Moodha Yoni? That is Tamasa people. And what is the definition of Tamasa? The definition of Tamasa is that even despite of repeated instructions, despite of repeated good advice, one doesn't endeavor to come out of mode of ignorance. That is called as Tamasa stage. And such a person has a greatest fear of gliding down to Mudha Yoni. Mudha Yoni means, yeah, lower species. Very good. Thank you, Shekhar. Devi Prasad is Prabhu saying, what are the next destination after death in the different modes? Okay. So it is Urdhvam. Now, I think 19th onwards, that is when they're going to come. So that upcoming verses will also speak and how to transcend the modes. So Urdhvam Gachanti Satvastha, Madhye Tishtanti Rajasa. So those who are in the mode of passion, they continue to do they take place in birth in a place of fruitive actions, fruitive karma bhumi. So karma bhumi or karma exhaustion bhumi. So you can either create a new karma or exhaust your karma. So he remains in the this place only. And urdhvam, those who are sattva, they go above. And then yeah, sure, thank you. Abhishek Prabhu is saying 99% word is tamasa. So even a small devotee has a great scope for becoming a preacher. Yeah, I shared. Even if somebody is preaching for agreed principles, because Prabhupada wrote in the purport, Krishna Consciousness Society is the only hope to save the humanity. So every single devotee has a great opportunity and a task to do, share this Krishna consciousness. Thank you, Prabhu. Yes, Sumit Prabhu.
Yesterday we discussed about that ultimately modes are the doer. We are not a doer, but we have free will to choose the mode in which we want to be, like in which modes we want to be, that we can choose, but ultimately the modes are doer.
Any example you remember regarding this? how we can choose. So I was giving, I think, example of river current, right? River current.
Yes,
In
yes.
a
That
one particular.
boat. You gave the example of like Mayapur, that Ganga River, and like many currents are there. And if boatman actually he has to decide like in which direction he wants to go. So in that like current, he has to take his boat.
Yes, bro. Perfect. So there is an endeavor required, and that endeavor is in our hands. That free will is in our hands. And we may be born in one particular mode by birth. By birth, we may have been in a mode of ignorance predominantly, or in mode of passion predominantly, because that has been the way we are conditioned. But now we have an opportunity to change the modes. By how? By changing the prescribed method of acting and living. As soon as these two words are very important, prescribed method of acting and prescribed method of living. So if somebody lives as per the prescribed method in Shastras, so we can find very common example, like when we came to the college days, first year, second year, our acting and living was very different, and we are conditioned to different modes. But as soon as we worked upon this prescribed method of acting and living, we agreed to submit to that. That we came in a association of devotees, we got up early, we stay with the devotees. So see, suddenly the life has changed a lot, which was not so easily possible. So, yeah, surely. Chandrabhushan Prabhu is telling, knowledge of 14th chapter helps to transcend three modes and helps us to become Gunatita. Yeah. So our aim of life is also to become Gunatita beyond these three modes. Gunatita. Very good. Darshan Prabhu is sharing about living entity first comes in the contact of nature and latter becomes conditioned with three modes. But if one's in perfect knowledge, okay, very good. Any other points, Prabhu? Yeah. He can transcend the modes. Very good. And Krishna also promised same thing, right? He said many sages in the past have overcome and have transcended the mode by getting the knowledge of this 14th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Okay, any last 2 points? Devotees can raise hands and speak. That will be better. Okay, Anil Prabhu.
Yeah, about senses, that the illumination of senses means to right, use for right purpose. Matlab, we can get the discrimination that what is good and what is bad. That is the meaning of illumination of senses.
Yeah. So when goodness comes, all the senses are eliminated by knowledge, and then they will act in a right way. What is to be done by that sense organ and what is not wrong thing to be done. Very good. Perfect. And when somebody becomes Gunatita, beyond three modes, then all the senses are actually illuminated by service attitude. So all senses like Ambrish Maharaj, Savai Mana Krishna Padar Vindayor Vachams, that one entire. So all senses think about this only. Not only discriminate, but they want to engage in seva of the Lord. Yes, Prabhu. Aradhna Prabhuji.
You also mentioned yesterday that why we first need to come to mode of goodness before transcending like all three modes. Like that was also discussed yesterday. Like importance of coming to mode of goodness.
Yeah, because goodness is conducive to spiritual realization, and otherwise, our even devotional practice sometimes becomes very frustrating. Even we are doing seva, but seva is transcendental. Seva is not in these three modes. Seva is for the pleasure of Lord. But if it is done in that, the performer is in the mode. If I am in the mode of passion, and if I do some seva, then surely that will have its consequences result, like frustration, misery, dissatisfaction, hankering, that they will come. So yeah, sure, spiritual advancement sure will be there. Spiritual advancement won't be checked, but this will come. Okay, Darshan Prabhu.
Usually the destination what one attains when one dies in particular mode, like in the mode of goodness, one attains the higher planetary system. In mode of if one dies in mode of ignorance, one takes birth in animal kingdom, and whereas in mode of passion, if one dies, then one takes birth in the earthly, earthly system, Gorloka. That
Yeah. So and amazing thing is modes are invisible. Like modes are invisible. If you see it up, if you tell this knowledge to any other outside person, modes are the doer. He said, what modes? To even realize how many of you, okay, now question to all of you. If you feel that you can observe yourself under modes sometimes. So if you feel, you can write I am in the chat box. You can just write I am in the chat box. If you feel that you can observe yourself sometimes that you are being controlled by modes. You are able to observe yourselves. So if you feel like that, just write I am in the chat box. Okay, Aman Prabhu feeling, Anil Prabhu is feeling. Okay, so many devotees are feeling. Acha. So you know one good part, one good news. Those devotees who are writing M, that if they are feeling that they are overpowered by mode of passion or a mode of ignorance or mode of goodness sometimes, very rarely that is. But if you feel that this is being done, then actually you are in mode of goodness. You know why? Because to observe mode of ignorance, person never realizes only that he is overpowered by ignorance. He feels this is a normal routine of life. Mode of passion, predominantly person he will never find only. He will feel, oh, this is the way we have to work. Only if little amount of goodness is there, then he will be able to realize, oh, actually I'm overpowered by other modes also. So a little goodness or that devotional attitude is there. Then he can see himself that I'm bound by this way. So amazing. Thank you, Prabhu. So coming to our next section. Yes, I think some devotees also raised hand. Chandra Bhushan Prabhu.
Yes, Guruji. Yesterday you were telling that word of God is intelligence for a devotee, and surrendering our intelligence to word of God is called spiritual life.
Yeah, I think this we discussed in the last class. Very important topic. This is very beautiful definition. Actually, Tamal Krishna Maharaj was told by Prabhupada this statement, and in Bhagavad Gita also it came. Surrender means surrender our intelligence to the word of God. So those people who accept the words of God in toto, that is called as faith. Shraddha Shabda Vishwasa Kahe Sudhruda Nishchay. Sudhruda Nishchay. So he said somebody who accepts Krishna's words in toto and doesn't doubt it, that is called as Shraddha. Thank you. Thank you, Prabhu. Okay. Abhishek, Prabhu, anyone else also raised hand? Fine. So we come to the verse number 19, where we stopped. I think we stopped yesterday at 19 only, right?
Yes, we completed till 18. We
Yeah.
should be continuing from 19.
Fine. So I think only now very few verses are remaining, but this is very important section about how can we transcend the modes. So let's start with 19th verse. Okay, 19th verse. Nanyam gunebhya kartaram yada drishtamupasyati gunebhyascha param veti madbhavam so adhigacchati. Na ayam. So if you see this word for word meaning, this will be very helpful here. Here Krishna is saying na anyam, no other, no other gunebhya, no other gunebhya, na anya gunebhya, kartaram, yada drishtanupashyati, one who understands this, gunebhyascha param veti, madbhavam, madbhavam, madbhavam matlab my consciousness means Krishna consciousness, bhavam. So this, if you see this word bhavam, so if you analyze this word bhavam, bhavam means Krishna consciousness. Bhavam means bhava. Bhava means repeated birth and death. Bhava sagar. So bhav. So there is one very beautiful shloka by uh, Kulashekar Alvar. Anyone has memorized this? Beautiful shloka. Entire shloka contains word bhav, 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 bhav. Like that. Entire shloka has this many words. Very famous shloka. Third shloka of Mukunda Mala Sutra. Maybe I will spell it. Bhavayam Bhavantam. What is that? How it starts. If I remember the start, I can tell. Maybe I'll tell in the between. It will come here. So very beautiful shloka. Naham vande tava charanayo dvandva hetu kumbipakam. What is that? Kumbipakam.
गुरुमपि हरे नारकं
नारकं नापनेतुं रम्या राम
मृदुतनुलता नन्दने नाभिरन्तु भावे भावे रघुगौरि भावये
Hari Bol, Jai. So beautiful prayer this is. So Bhavam. So Mad Bhavam. Bhavam means my spiritual nature. And Bhava. Bhava means birth. So I said he will not take Bhava. He will not take repeated birth, but he will attain Bhava. So we have to go from Bhava to Bhava. Like we have stage of Bhava also, right? So let's transcend from Bhava Sagar to Bhav Sagar. Bhav Sagar, ocean of Krishna consciousness. Bhav Sagar, Bhav Sagar. Just change of one change of matra, and can make a big difference. Bhav to Bhav, right? So what is goal of our life? To go from Bhav to Bhav. That is the goal of our life. Okay. So here 19th shloka is telling that modes are the only doer. Please, we read this yesterday. We did not read this. Okay, we did not read. Please continue.
Arjun Sarthi Prabhuji.
When one properly sees that in all activities, no other performer is at work than these modes of nature, and he knows the Supreme Lord who is transcendental to all these modes, he attains my spiritual nature. Should I read purport also? One can transcend all the activities of modes of material nature simply by understanding them properly by learning from the proper souls. The real spiritual master is Krishna, and he is imparting this spiritual knowledge to Arjuna. Similarly, it is from those who are fully in Krishna consciousness that one has to learn the science of activities in terms of modes of nature. Otherwise, one's life will be misdirected. By the instruction of a bona fide spiritual master, a living entity can know of his spiritual position, his material body, his senses, how he is entrapped, and how he is under the spell of the material modes of nature. He is helpless, being in the grip of these modes, but when he can see his real position, then he can attain to transcendental platform, having the scope for spiritual life. Actually, the living entity is not the performer of different activities. He is forced to act because he is situated in a particular type of body, conducted by some particular mode of material nature. Unless one has the help of a spiritual authority, he cannot understand in what position he is actually situated. With the association of a bona fide spiritual master, he can see his real position, and by such an understanding, he can become fixed in full Krishna consciousness. A man in Krishna consciousness is not controlled by the spell of material modes of nature. It has already been stated in the 7th chapter that one who has surrendered to Krishna is relieved from the activities of material nature. For one who is able to see things as they are, the influence of material nature gradually ceases. A man in Krishna consciousness is not controlled by the spell of material modes of nature. It has already been stated in the 7th chapter that one who has surrendered to Krishna is relieved from the activities of material nature. For one who is able to see things as they are, the influence of material nature gradually ceases. You are on mute, Prabhu.
So beautiful, Papa. Prabhupada is saying here that with the association of bona fide spiritual master, one can see things as they are. So here we find Krishna is equating transcending the modes of material nature with liberation from material world. So actual liberation is actual transcending the modes of nature is liberation only, liberation from material world. So what is the first step Krishna is telling us? So first step, at least first step in transcending mode is to understand that we are under modes. Like that's why I asked you, all of you, that how many of you feel that you have been overpowered by modes sometimes. So the first step to transcend anything is to understand that I am under modes. I'm overpowered by modes, and how modes are making mess of my life. Like before a patient takes some medicine, he has to agree that I am sick. If I'm not sick only, patient is not ready to agree only. So you know one thing, in the those who go to psychiatric, especially the most difficult cases to handle are mental cases, not the physical cases. Physical cases are very easy to handle, but those who are mental patients, they are very, very difficult to handle. Anyone knows why? Why it is so difficult to handle the mental case? Those who are having psychiatric disorder.
Because they did not accept that they have that problem. They think
Ah,
maybe I'm alright.
they don't accept only they are sick. So only others can observe. Others can observe that there is something abnormal with the person, but they are not ready to accept only. So 90% of the time goes to convince a person that beta, you are sick, you need a treatment. 90% of the time goes there only of the doctor. And as soon as he agrees that I am sick, then the treatment becomes very, very easier. As soon as he accepts. So like same is in the case of anarthas. We find na? Like lust, greed, anger. People don't agree only. But as soon as they're okay, they agree. So that's why in Christianity also, in Christianity, the 90 one of the very powerful ways of overcoming the sins and overcoming the all kinds of conditioning is you know what? Confession. Confession. You might have heard the person goes to a Christian goes to a priest and he confesses, "Oh my dear father, oh my priest, I have committed this many sins." And the father goes and father tells, "Okay, Lord will forgive you," and all this. So we find this confession. Confession plays a very important role. So here Krishna is also telling the first step in transcending the modes of nature is to observe first of all. First of all to agree that I am being controlled by the modes. So the first step is to observe that modes are working upon you. Now somebody has understood that modes are working upon him, then he can understand. He can understand that we are separate than these modes. My identity is separate than this modes. I am not this modes. I am not this body. He can understand our identity to be separate than the modes. And then once one what happens? Then he is ready to take Krishna's advice. And he said he understands I am Atma, I am eternal living entity. And then he understands Krishna's position, and then he can take the medicine. So that's why here this shloka is mainly telling us that modes are the doer. Like modes are controlling every step of our life. So somebody has understood this. Having understood this, now we should take upon the medicines which are like 20th verse onwards. Krishna is going to speak about the solutions for overcoming mode, and especially how to become gunatita. Gunatita. So 20th verse. Okay, next. Someone can read. गुणानेतान् अतित्यत्रिन् देहि देह समुद्भवान् जन्म मृत्यु जरा दुःखैर् विमुक्तो अमृतमश्नुते guna etan atityatrin. So I said this from here the words comes gunatita. Gunan atit. Go beyond these three modes. Dehi deha samudbhavan. And what will happen for such a person? Amrutam ashnute. Amrutam. Such a person will attain vimukti. Now there is a difference here. If you see here, the word mukti is being used. Vimukto. So generally, whenever in Bhakti Yoga purports or anywhere Bhakti Yoga literatures will find, many times mukti word will be given adjective of vimukti. V. It will not be always anytime mukti only, especially in the all Bhakti Shastras, if you will see. Mukti will not come. Why vimukti? Vimukti means Vishesh Rupa Mukti. Vishesh Rupena Mukti. So this mukti is a special mukti, not an ordinary mukti, because the devotee never hankers for mukti. Devotee hankers only for service and to go to spiritual world. So vimukto, amrutam ashnute. And he will attain amrutam, nectar. He will enjoy nectar at the time of death. Okay. Please read the translation proper.
Ashish Prabhu.
Yes, sir. Translation. When the embodied being is able to transcend three modes associated with the material body, he can become free from birth, death, old age, and their distresses, and can enjoy nectar even in this life. Purport. How one can stay in the transcendental position even in this body in full Krishna consciousness is explained in this verse. The Sanskrit word dehi means embodied. Although one is within this material body,
By his advancement in spiritual knowledge, he can be free from the influence of the modes of nature. He can enjoy the happiness of spiritual life even in this body, because after leaving this body, he is certainly going to the spiritual sky. But even in this body, he can enjoy spiritual happiness. In other words, devotional service in Krishna consciousness is the sign of liberation from the material entanglement. And this will be explained in the 18th chapter. When one is freed from the influence of modes of material nature, he enters into devotional service.
So he enters into devotional service. So when the influence of modes of material nature reduces, now what if the influence of modes of nature is still there? Can a person who is influenced by the modes of nature, can he practice devotional service or no? Here Prabhupada is writing, when somebody is under influence, when somebody is freed from the influence of modes of nature, then he enters into devotional service. So what do you say about this? Let's somebody is not free from the influence of modes of nature, then what? Can he practice devotional service or no? Okay, Sumit Prabhu.
I think he can, although he is in modes of nature, but he can take the shelter of those who are above modes and can follow the instruction of them, so he can come out.
Okay, very good. Yes, Prabhu. Karuna Brajesh Prabhuji.
Yes, Prabhu. Prabhuji Prabhupada says Krishna consciousness is very sublime process, and here we can engage like all kind of people. They can serve in Krishna's service, even taking from the small fruit vendor, or even from the one who is milking the cows, from them to the top. Even the Prime Minister of India can be engaged in the service of the Lord. So in that way, Prabhupada said, like, we can engage each and everyone. Doesn't matter in which mode he is. Later on,
Okay.
if they are in a mode of goodness and pure goodness, then maybe they can improve more, go deep inside, like become a pure devotee and all. So.
Okay. Okay. Okay, now we are coming into very wonderful discussion now. This is a very आपके इंटेलिजेंस को जगाने वाला डिस्कशन आने वाला है. तो अगर जो सो रहा है सब उठ जाइए. इंटेलिजेंस को जीव जागो गौरव चंद्र बोले. सो इंटेलिजेंस को जगाने वाला डिस्कशन आने वाला है. यहाँ पे एक अच्छा टॉपिक डिस्कस हो रहा है. When he will, here Abhishek Prabhu is writing, when somebody gets free from the modes, then only pure devotional service can be practiced. Otherwise, it will be a mishrit kind of bhakti. Oh, amazing topic of discussion. So, again I reframe the question. Can a pure devotional service be practiced by a person who is under modes or no? I'm not talking about devotional service. I'm talking about pure devotional service. Can pure devotional service be practiced by a person who is in three modes or no? Okay, Karthik Prabhu.
Yes, actually anyone can, those who are in modes, influenced by the modes of material nature, they can practice Shuddha Bhakti. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, they mentioned that Shuddha Bhakti can be practiced through different categories like sadhana Bhakti, then Raganuga Bhakti, then Shuddha Bhakti, Bhava Bhakti, then Prem Bhakti. So all are path of pure devotional service only, but that is all are stages.
Okay, very good. I think someone else also, Mayuresh Prabhu is saying, no, not at all. Pure bhakti cannot be practiced by someone under modes. Okay, amazing. Any other, all scholars here, Bhakti Shastris. Yes, Shantanu Prabhu.
Proji, the process of devotional service is always pure. It is because even sadhana bhakti, what we are practicing, it is because it is coming from the acharyas who are already at the stage of pure devotional service. So the process is already pure. We are in the three modes. So by properly following the process given by the pure acharyas and the pure devotional service, we slowly and gradually become pure, reach to the stage of pure devotional service. And that's what I think in the previous purport Prabhupada is saying, that once as one slowly takes to devotional service, the influence of the three modes gradually ceases to exist.
Okay, thank you, Prabhu. Very nice points. Deepak, Swapnil Prabhu is sharing. Okay, 1 minute. Sumit Prabhu is telling it can be practiced in initial days, but as he progresses, he has to come up. Okay, so initial days it is okay, but overall, okay, very good. Yes, he can practice, but he will struggle while practicing. Okay, nice point. Swapnil Prabhu is sharing. Wonderful. Deepak Prabhu is saying pure bhakti can be practiced if the person follows a pure devotee only. Okay, that is understood. So even in the person is in the modes, if he follows a pure devotee, then he is doing Shuddha Bhakti. Okay, amazing. Sumit Prabhu is saying it can be practiced in the initial days, but as the time progresses, one has to come up. Okay, Rasika Raj Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhuji. As said in Vaishnav Sang, Suddha Bhakta Jaranaju Bhajana Anukula, means one should follow the qualified or Suddha Bhaktas, then he can gradually reach to that level. And also, in case of jaundice, even though a person cannot taste sweeter things, but gradually by taking sugarcane juice, his jaundice get overtaken and he will able to taste it. So by practicing under the guidance of Suddha Bhaktas like Guru, Shiksha Guru, he can achieve it.
Amazing. Okay, just wonderful. Very beautiful point. This is exactly point I was looking for. Okay, Asim Prabha Bro.
If you say pure devotional service, so if you go through the definition of Rupa Goswami, Anya Vilasita Sunyam, Jnana Karmadi Navritam. So no other desire than only to serve Krishna. So if we consider this as to be the pure devotional service, then it seems that we cannot practice it when we are under the three modes, because Krishna has spoken Mamcha Yogya Vicharina Bhakti Yogena Sevate Sagunan Samtetan. So one transcends when when one is
Okay,
practicing.
I think you only said this shloka. What is meaning of this shloka? Again, can you repeat? Please read what is the meaning of this shloka?
Sevate Sagunan Samtityatan Brahma Bhuyaya Kalpate.
Very good shloka. Now you tell me the meaning of the shloka.
So here, if one is practicing undeviated or pure devotional service, then undeviated, then he becomes free from the modes. So
here it is ulta. It is a puzzle, no? To practice Shuddha Bhakti, unmishrit Bhakti, then one becomes free from the three modes.
Yeah. So that's what I'm saying, Proji, because if one is practicing pure devotional service, he is already free from the modes. So if one is practicing pure devotional service, free from the modes. So means who is practicing pure devotional service is free from the modes. Yeah.
So what? So basically, again, we're same back to same question. Can pure devotional service be practiced by a person in modes or not? Anyone? Final verdict? Okay, Shekhar Prabhu.
Prabhuji, the different activities which comprise of the devotional service are the same in all stages, but in the conditional stage we are forced, like we don't want to, but we are told to do this. We have to attend morning program because authorities have told. But when we transcend the modes, then automatically, since we have developed that transcendental taste, we don't need to be pushed. We spontaneously we will do activities. Activities are the same, Prabhuji, the different limbs of devotional service, but the consciousness is what gets transformed, Prabhuji.
Yeah, amazing. Very beautiful point. Yes, Prabhu. Karthik Prabhu also say something?
Yeah, actually, we should here Anya Abhalesa Sunya means we should understand that we can distinguish between anartha and abhilas. So there are so many anarthas. So we should take we are taking anarthas also as abhilas. Because of that, we are unable to understand. So here, in the stages of devotional service, we have anartha stages also there. So in bhajan kriya, so many anarthas are coming. So we are thinking this anarthas also abhilas. Because of that, we are unable to understand that this is Shuddha Bhakti. So we are in the same Sudha, we are practicing Sudha Bhakti, but we have to we have also desire to chant more rounds. We have the desire to serve Vaishnavas. These desires are there, and there are also so many anathas also there. So that discrimination should be there. So in that sense, we have desires to serve Krishna also, Vaishnavas also, but somehow because of anathas, we are unable to follow the path. And we are unable to practice nicely. So that doesn't mean we are not on in the path of bhakti. So in that sense, I am saying.
Perfect. Very good. Okay, last point, Banil Prabhu. Then we go ahead.
Prabhuji, in the starting, we required the mercy of the Guru to follow the scripture and rules and regulation. And then when mercy comes, then we can do some regulation of us, and then we start chanting. So from the chanting, from the scripture, we get the strength. So we can lower down the mode slowly. So this is a parallel process. One place we can get the strength. As much as strength we get, as much as modes will be going down, and slowly we become coming to the transcendental mode. So it's like a parallel process. In the starting, we have to follow regulation based on the Guru and Shastra, and then slowly we can move towards the up. Then modes automatically going slowly down.
Amazing.
So it means conditions all can practice, huh? Yeah. But in starting,
yeah, perfect. So here we, as many of you said very perfectly well, Anya Abhilashita Shunya, the definition of Shuddha Bhakti. If you see what all things are there in there, Anya Abhilashita Shunya, Jnana Karmadi Anavritam. So first, that's why it is said, if somebody is overpowered by modes, let's say somebody is predominantly in some particular mode, but now by the grace of Guru, by the grace of Vaishnavas, he has developed right conception, and he has developed right consciousness also, right conception and right consciousness. Both things are developed for him now. So although now predominantly he is in some particular mode, do you have any examples from Shastras of somebody in ignorance practiced devotional service, somebody in passion performed devotional service? Any examples from Shastras like that?
Elephant.
Which one? Yes, bro.
Vishwamitra Muni Bhaji. He's starting in passion, then he came into Buddhism.
Yeah, correct. Okay.
Dhruv
Any other?
Maharaj.
Dhruv Maharaj. Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So which mode it was started with?
He was in passion.
Perfect. Okay.
Gajendra in mode of ignorance.
Yeah. So body itself is in the body itself is in the mode of ignorance. Okay, very good. Mrigari. Predominantly the body and the lifestyle was in ignorance. But now by the grace of Narad Muni, he has received right consciousness. So because the body and one is conditioned to one particular mode, ignorance. So again and again this mode will cause trouble. Again and again this mode will cause trouble. But when somebody has got this right consciousness now, so he can practice pure devotional service. It is not that one has to first overcome all this, and then one particular stage will come, and then now I start practicing pure devotional service. So it is not that pure devotional service can be practiced. And what is pure devotional service? Especially engagement into the 9 limbs of bhakti, which Amrish Maharaj and Prahlad Maharaj, both of them mentioned already. Amrish Maharaj mentions engage Savai Mana Krishna, and Shravanam, and Prahlad Maharaj, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu, Swaranam. So this can be done. And as many of you also said, the experience becomes relishable. Like you gave the very beautiful example of Rupa Goswami, that of jaundice, right? Jaundice. So even if jaundice is there, sugarcane juice can be tasted by anyone. Sugarcane juice can be, and sugarcane juice has a potency. But when somebody is in the modes, then there is a struggle. It's not very tasty to relish. When Prabhupada writes here that, what is the Prabhupada writing here? One practice devotional service when one is free from 3 modes. Yeah. So the true relish of spiritual life, true relish will come when this stage is attained. Okay. So we go ahead. 21st verse. Arjuna Uvacha. Okay, I have to share the screen. Shekhar was telling an example of Pingala. Okay, Pingala. Yeah, perfect. So those I think all of you are aware of example of Pingal. 11th canto. 21st verse. Arjuna Uvacha Kairlinga Strigunanetan Atito Bhavati Prabho Himachara Katham Chaitams Trin Gunan Ativartate Kairlinga Strigunanetan. So Arjuna is saying, by which symptoms I can understand that somebody has transcended the modes? So first step in transcending mode is to understand that I am in the modes. Now the second step is to know, okay, I want to transcend the modes. By the way, Krishna, can you tell me what are the symptoms of the person who has transcended the modes? Like we also, whenever we are trying to achieve something, so we discuss, no, okay, I understood that I am diseased. Like patient goes to a doctor, he says, okay, I understood that I am diseased. Now, can you tell me what all things, how actually the person who doesn't have this disease, he behaves? So Arjuna is inquiring here. What is a symptom of a person who is not affected by these three modes? So that I can understand what is the right behavior only. What is the state to be attained? So this is 21st. Please read Prabhu, translation.
Asim Prabha Prabhu.
Yes. Arjuna inquired, O my dear Lord, by which symptoms is one known who is transcendental to these three modes? What is his behavior and how does he transcend the modes of nature? But in this verse, Arjuna's questions are very appropriate. He wants to know the symptoms of a person who has already transcended the material modes. He first inquires of the symptoms of such a transcendental person. How can one understand that he has already transcended the influence of the modes of material nature? The second question asks how he lives and what is his activities are. Are they regulated or non-regulated? Then Arjuna inquires of the means by which he can attain the transcendental nature. That is very important. Unless one knows the direct means by which one can situate it always transcendentally, there is no possibility of showing the symptoms. So all these questions put by Arjuna are very important and the Lord answers them.
Yeah, so two questions asked by Arjuna here. So the first question asked here is, what are the symptoms of person who has transcended the modes? And second question he asks, okay, by the way, how he lives and what all things he does. And then third question he's going to ask, okay, Krishna, please tell me that how to attain this such a state for myself. So here Shri Baldev Vidyabhushan, he rephrases the meanings of Arjuna's questions. So Arjuna first asks, what are the symptoms of transcendence? What symptoms of transcendence will manifest in a person who is no longer affected by modes? So Shri Baldev Vidyabhushan in his that commentary, he writes, he rephrases the question. So how do we understand that someone has already transcended the mode? The second question is, what is his behavior? So is his behavior regulated or enacted according to his own desire? So does he behave in a very regulated manner or does he act as per his own choice? And third question asked is, so three questions asked being in this verse by Arjun. And by what practice does he achieve the transcendence? So three questions asked in this verse. And the remaining section till the end of the chapter will be the answers given by Lord. 27, 20, second to 25. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha Prakasham cha pravrittim cha moham eva cha pandava na dveshti samapravrittani na nivrittani kankshati udasina vadasino gunairyo na vichalyate गुणवर्धन इति एवं यो वतिष्ठति नेङ्गते समदुःख सुख स्वस्थ समलोष्टात्मकाञ्चन तुल्या प्रिया प्रियो धीरास् तुल्या निन्दात्मना संस्तुति मान अपमानयोस्तुल्यस् tulyo mitraripakshyo sarvarambha parityagi gunatita sa uchyate. So very amazing shloka. Memorization shloka means because these are all symptoms and the behavior of a person who has transcended the modes. Prakasham cha pravrittim cha moham evam cha pandava. Na dveshti sama pravrittani na nivrittani kankshati. So here he mentions about prakasham. Prakasham means illumination. And pravritti. Pravritti means attachment. And moham, illusion. So here he said, a person who does not hate illumination and he doesn't hate attachment also. And even when illusion, so when they are present or long for them when they disappear. So he said he is not disturbed. He does not hate anything. Oh, this situation was better. This situation was good. This situation. Who is unwavering and undisturbed through all reactions of material quality. Udasina. Udasina. Udasina means not udasi. Udasina means neutral. Udasina vad asino. So he said as if he is neutral. Asina. Asina matlab asan. We say na asan. So he sits on the asan of udasinavat. So such a person sits on the asana of udasinavat. So he said guner yo na vichalyate. So he is not vichalit nahi hota hai. Guner, when gunas affect, such a person is not vichalit. Guna vartana iti evam. And samaduk. So please read the translation. Translation is very nice. Please read.
Sekhar Prabhu.
Translation. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, O son of Pandu, he who does not hate illumination, attachment, and delusion when they are present or long for them when they disappear, who is unwavering and undisturbed through all these reactions of the material qualities, remaining neutral and transcendental, knowing that the modes alone are active, who is situated in the self and regards alike happiness and distress, who looks upon a lump of earth, a stone, and a piece of gold with an equal eye, who is equal towards the desirable and the undesirable, who is steady, situated equally well in praise and blame, honor and dishonor, who treats alike both friend and enemy, and who has renounced all material activities. Such a person is said to have transcended the modes of nature.
Yeah. So these are all the qualities which are being mentioned. These are the symptoms, behavior of a. So symptoms. Arjuna asked 3 questions. Arjuna asked 3 questions about. So Krishna is answering all these 3 questions one after another. Arjuna asked first question was, what are the symptoms? Second is, what is the behavior of such a person? What are the symptoms we can see in such a person who has transcended the mode? So first, Krishna is answering in the first 2 lines, first shloka. What are the symptoms? Then second question being asked by Arjuna is, what is the behavior of such a person who has transcended these modes? And Krishna is answering behavior. And the third part he asked about, what is the process? So what are the symptoms? Symptoms are mainly answered in 14.22 shloka. So the first shloka. The first shloka is answering the symptoms. 14.22. So what are the symptoms? Prakasham cha pravrittim cha moham evam cha pandava. So he said, such a person does not hate illumination and attachment and delusion when they are present or long for them when they disappear. So 14.22 is Krishna's answers to Arjuna's first question. What are the symptoms by which we can know the Gunatita person? So 14.23 onwards, like the next shloka, Udasina Vadasino. So next 3 shloka, next 2 shlokas especially, 23, 24, okay, all the remaining 3 shlokas, 23, 24, and 25, they will mention about what is the behavior of such a person. So in this, in this entire section, there are 4 shlokas. So the first shloka is speaking about symptoms of such a person, and remaining 3 shlokas are talking about behavior of such a person. What is the behavior of such a person? Udasina vadasino. He sits on the asana of Udasina. He's very neutral. He's not disturbed. He's not vicharit by Guner. Guna Vartana iti evam. And then Sama Dukkha Sukha Swastha. His equipoise in happiness and dukkha. Sama Loshtatma Kanchana. He treats equally the lump of earth and piece of gold. And who is equal towards desirable and undesirable. Praise, honor, blame, dishonor. Who treats equally enemy and friend. So he said, this is the behavior of such a person. Can you give some example from scriptures about such a person? All these symptoms are being mentioned or behavior is being mentioned. If you can give some examples from scriptures about such personality, you might have read in scriptures, a Gunatita person, many Gunatita persons, but okay, the very perfect
Sanatan
example.
Goswami.
Okay, very good. Sanatan Goswami. Deepak Sutarnu said Jada Bharat. Jada Bharat was like this only. Rishabh Dev. Very good. Amazing. Amrish Maharaj. Yeah. Equal towards enemy. Whom? Prabhu? Anil Prabhu said who?
Bhishma Dev.
Bhishma Dev. Not at all affected by praise.
Vidura
Prabhuji.
Even Sukadeva Goswami is there.
Shukdev Goswami. So basically all the examples which you are talking are of pure devotees. So pure devotees are already transcended the modes. So we can visibly see such symptoms in their life that they are not affected by. Jada Bharat is a very classic example, right? He appears neutral only. Nothing he did. No man, somebody beats him, somebody does anything to him, he's not at all affected. So yeah, amazing. So such are the symptoms of a person who has transcended the modes. So now only 2 shlokas are remaining, and time is already up for me because today now Rajesh Shampru is going to give class. So 26th and 27th mostly will conclude tomorrow. Will not go for very long tomorrow. Maybe just a minute. You can complete today only. If we complete tomorrow, is it okay? Tomorrow we'll just complete in half an hour only. We will quickly complete. So tomorrow we'll get off quite early because we can give proper justice to these 2 shlokas. Otherwise, I will have to rush through today. So 14th chapter will get over tomorrow, and 15th chapter is very, very small. 15th chapter, many of you might have already studied, memorized also. It's a memorization chapter. All 20 shlokas to be memorized from 15th chapter. So generally many students in school used to make ratta of this 15th chapter and 12th chapter. So we'll cover the 2 shlokas, the last concluding, the climax. That Krishna is revealing the secret that, okay, till now I told you so much about modes. Now I'm telling you the secret. And all of you already know the secret. न्यू में से प्रभु सब पता है सीक्रेट भक्ति करो हमारे वॉइस के हर बच्चे बच्चे को पता है वो एक गाना आया था ना गाँव का बच्चा बच्चा प्रभु श्री राम कहेगा सम सॉन्ग वाज देयर हमारे वॉइस के हर डिवोटी को बच्चा इसको उनके हर बच्चे बच्चे को पता है सोल्यूशन सीक्रेट क्या है लेकिन इस सोल्यूशन को अप्रिशिएट करना कैसे है और इसको अप्लाई कैसे करना है let's try to focus something more about we'll try to discuss from some Prabhupada lectures also and some lectures from Maharaj about how we can practically take some steps to overcome the modes. So, okay, quickly read this purport through. We'll just complete the purport and then stop for today.
Purport. Arjuna submitted 3 different questions, and the Lord answers them one after another. In these verses, Krishna first indicates that a person transcendently situated has no envy and does not hanker for anything. When a living entity stays in this material world, embodied by the material body, it is to be understood that he is under the control of one of the 3 modes of material nature. When he is actually out of the body, then he is out of the clutches of the material modes of nature. But as long as he is not out of the material body, he should be neutral. He should engage himself in the devotional service of the Lord so that his identity with the material body will automatically be forgotten. When one is conscious of the material body, he acts only for sense gratification, but when one transfers the consciousness to Krishna, sense gratification automatically stops. one that does not need this material body, and he does not need to accept the dictations of the material body. The qualities of the material modes in the body will act, but as spirit soul, the self is aloof from such activities. How does he become aloof? He does not desire to enjoy the body, nor does he desire to get out of it. Thus, transcendently situated, the devotee becomes automatically free. He need not try to become free from the influence of the modes of material nature. The next question concerns the dealings of a transcendently situated person. The materially situated person is affected by so-called honor and dishonor offered to the body, but the transcendently situated person is not affected by such false honor and dishonor. He performs his duty in Krishna consciousness and does not mind whether a man honors or dishonors him. He accepts things that are favorable for his duty in Krishna consciousness. Otherwise, he has no necessity of anything material, either a stone or gold. He takes everyone as his dear friend who helps him in his execution of Krishna consciousness, and he does not hate his so-called enemy. He is equally disposed and sees everything on an equal level because he knows perfectly well that he has nothing to do with material existence. Social and political issues do not affect him because he knows the situation of temporary upheavals and disturbances. He does not attempt anything for his own sake. He can attempt anything for Krishna, but for his personal self, he does not attempt anything. By such behavior, one becomes actually transcendentally situated.
Very loaded purport. Maybe we will discuss a little more about this tomorrow, and then we'll start again with the next two verses. And mostly we'll conclude by this. And then there is a last 15 chapter, which I'm going to take. After that, Dashrath Priya Prabhu is going to take the remaining three chapters for all of you. So today is 15, tomorrow 16, 14th will get over. And next week also, I guess 22 is Nursing Chaturdashi is when, Prabhu?
I think Wednesday.
22.
I think
22.
Wednesday.
Okay, maybe we can do then either 21 Nursing Chaturdashi, many devotees may like to come to temple, or is it working day for all of you?
It's a working day, but I think morning program at least in temple. And would like.
Okay.
I'm not sure, but.
How many if you feel we can continue on Wednesday, Thursday only, or if you feel we can do on Tuesday, Wednesday, Tuesday, Thursday that time. So if you can say, means accordingly I can manage. Tuesday, Thursday.
For me, both are okay.
Okay, maybe you can check a poll, Prabhu, and let Shantanu Prabhu on WhatsApp and check whether Tuesday, Thursday or Tuesday, Wednesday. Whatever devotees are okay. Means ideally, I think preferably Tuesday, Thursday is better, so that those devotees who want to come to temple, they have the opportunity to come to temple on Nursing Chaturdashi. And also, there are chances that there is going to be memorial festival celebration of Param Pujya Gopal Krishna Maharaj. I don't know the dates are released or not, but in Pune, this is the time when this is going to happen. So you may have to be available. You may have to keep yourself available for Maharaj ceremony in Pune. 21,
dates
23.
are there. Dates revealed.
Which date?
1 April.
Already released, huh?
Correct.
I only don't know till now. Okay. Anyway, just Shantanu Prabhu will let me know, and then accordingly we can manage.
Yes, ma'am. I think this 21st only, Sunday, I guess.
Okay, Prabhu. 21st is Sunday. 21st is Tuesday.
19th is Sunday.
Yeah, fine.
19th is Sunday.
Sorry, 19th. Sunday is there, bro.
Okay. So all of you are invited to Visakhapatnam. Visakhapatnam is really, really very beautiful place. Super. I never saw before came to Visakhapatnam. It's a temple on the sea beach only. We have ISKCON temple at sea beach. First time I ever saw any temple at the sea beach. So in front of sea beach, huge temple, huge, and so beautiful. Never ever seen that. It looks like heaven only, heaven on the earth. Mountains behind and gardens and all so beautiful environment. So in case you have not come, you can plan your next yatra sometimes in Visakhapatnam and go to Simhachalam, Mangalgiri. Very, very beautiful places. Hare Krishna. Vancha kalpatarubhasya kripa sindhubhe vatsa patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta koti Vaishnavavrinda ki jai. Shri
Jai,
Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai. Thank you very much, Prabhu. Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Madam Kanan Prabhu, this 19th is the celebration day.
Okay, okay. So anyway, it is not conflicting with our.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.